America is my favorite place in the world. All right. How are y'all doing? Thank you. Thank you very much. So, how is everybody doing? I hope everybody is well. Sorry for the slight delay. As always, I mean, I'm usually 5 minutes late. So, how is everyone doing? I still got my friends in town. My lawyer, Gregory, but yeah, he's out with my wife. They're going for a walk. So it's just you and I, everybody. So let's see here. What's going on, Rachel, Lydia, Pete, son of Quack? What is going on? Big North, Nano Aquarium guy, Patty's Petite Tanks, Carolyn, what's going on? S, what's going on? Lydia, Pompeii Ranch, Carolyn again, different Carolyn. And then we've got I Love Friday Nights. Good evening, all. Thanks. Good evening. Donnie Wolf, hello. Zen Ginger, my man, as in woman. Muppet, what's up? And yeah, if you guys have a question tonight, feel free. Dev, what's going on? Discus Addiction, welcome, welcome, welcome. Jordan Babcock, always love that last name. How is it so bright outside in Washington? Well, I mean, the sun doesn't set for another hour here, but that's a you know, a world thing. It has to do with where we are in the world. Ames Spirit Fish, Cranium Rex, that's a good one. GRB, g'day, how's it going? Carolyn Owen, man, we got a lot of Carolyns in here. Psychedelic, how is your pineal gland? Probably full of DMT is probably how it is. Let's see here. So today we have a few different bases we can cover. Let me pull up this on the other Bagheera Jungle Book. So, of course, this is The Secret History Living in Your Aquarium. I got an awesome plant from a buddy, William, that's a friend of the channel. It is a purple Aponigeton. I've never seen a purple Aponigeton before. I've seen them have a twinge of purple, like a slight little bit of purple. This is like, I mean, I'll show you guys. It's planted and it's incredible. It's a pretty sweet plant. I'll have to share that with you guys as well. Let's see here. So I'm gonna pull this up real quick. Mute this real quick. Let's just get it up so I can share my screen if need be tonight. All right. All right, are we still on? Yeah, all right, we're still on that one. Cut the mic there on that one. And then, all right, cool. We're good to go. Now I can see your comments a little bit better, hopefully, or at least see some of them. Let's see if this will load. Again, there's a problem with the alert system on YouTube. I'm getting texts from a couple good friends that are like, hey, Alex, I know you're live right now, but I'm not getting alerted of it in any way, shape, or form. So if you guys don't have the little bell clicked with alerts and you do want to know when my live streams are on, click that little bell and that will help that issue. Hopefully that resolves that issue. Let me get out of top chat, live chat, so we can see everything. All the questions and comments. All right, Danikin, what is going on? I hope you're fully healed and on the mend. So if you guys have questions about anything tonight, even the meaning of life, that's pretty blue. How about in between? Let's do that. Then it looks like I have a little bit of a tan. All right, if you guys have questions on anything, including the meaning of life, just do @ The Secret History Living in Your Aquarium, that @ symbol. And that will bring it to my attention much better. And then I can incorrectly handle the question for y'all. So 503 Shanna, how's it going? Welcome to Thunderdome. All right, so tonight, my plan, and Taylor, Lonnie, what's up? Welcome. We got lots of people rolling in. Rolling, rolling, rolling. Keep those watchers rolling. Fish guy, ride them up, swim them out. Okay, so I had a fresh Dr. Pepper. This one's flat. I don't know about that. All right. So yeah, if you guys are ready to rock, are you ready to rock? Hello, Seattle. And the rest of the world. Let's get that little thumbs up. No, Azaravian, you are not too late. You are just right. You are perfect, just the way you are. Don't go changing and try to please me. Well, so tonight I wanted to talk about stratification. I wanted to talk about how your tank is like a layer cake or a piece of bacon, if you will. You've got these sections, and most fish stay in their lane. They know what they're supposed to do. They know what they're about. Because of that, we can put them in our aquariums and treat them as such. Now, if you do this right, you've kind of got a cleaning crew that maybe you want to traverse all these zones. You've got cleaning crew that you can keep in the bottom, cleaning crew you can keep on leaves and small surfaces, hard to get at places. Then you kind of got your centerpiece fish usually, and then you can have your accent fish or secondary fish, followed by your tertiary fish or your backup fish, you know, your little tetras and rasboras and things like that. So if you're not doing a nano tank, you know, you might have, say, angelfish or gouramis or, you know, something like that, large plecos. And those are kind of, in my mind, the thing you build your display around if you want the livestock to be the main star of your aquarium. Some people don't, though. Some people want the aquatic, you know, the plants and the decor to be the star. And in that case, then you kind of want to just go with something understated. But even if we're talking hardscape or we're talking, you know, whatever may be the case, you know, you can play around with those elements, and you can play around with how visible the fish are, but you can also play around with where they hang out. And oh, we got the first super duper super chat of the night. Smiling face there from Shanna 503 Aquatics. Check out her channel, by the way, guys, if you haven't yet. She's got the axolotl news that you didn't know you needed, but you do. Let's see here. History living in your aquarium. Are you purposefully leaving Zen's hello comment up on your screen? It's a great comment and all, but face. No, I was not. But it's funny that you left that and I read it after I pulled it down. No, I was just getting my laptop set up and making sure the microphone was secure and the lights, and then looking for the Dr. Pepper that I thought I grabbed, and then the tripod thing. But let's try this. I've got it set up so I can switch it. As long as I'm wearing these headphones, I can switch it, boom, to mobile headphone mode, and we can move around and look at tanks and do all sorts of things, including find my Dr. Pepper. I mean, you guys are important and all, but the Dr. Pepper is crucial. I mean, it has to happen. Now it's my comment on the screen for everyone to see. Well, I mean, leave that. I mean, keep commenting. I mean, if you guys want to just drop super chats to see your self in existence, to affirm your own existence, then who am I to stop you? No one. That's who I am. No one to stop you from that. So thank you so much, Rachel. I appreciate it. Yes, you've accomplished your goal. All right, so let's take this, flip this around. I won't sing the song that I usually do. Do me better. Let's do the hump. Humpty Hump. I sang a different song. All right. Boom. So check this out from William, fellow viewer, plant enthusiast that I bought. Actually, have I bought stuff from him in the past before this? I don't know. But look at this. This is a Ponageton Crispus. And look at that. I mean, it is purple, purple, purple. And first time I've ever seen that. I am just freaking blown away by that. And he even gave me a seed because he propagated it and bloomed it, flowered it, and I don't know where it went, but it's not really purple yet. It's in here somewhere. But I also planted a bunch of Logonandra Buldi red from tissue cultures in here, trying to get that growing again because we have the Logonandra Buldi silver powder here. But it's just been struggling for so long. I don't know what its deal is, but it's been struggling. It's been rough for him. So I don't know what the deal is, but these gouramis look so top notch next to that purple plant. Like I want an entire purple and red and black. Like if I could get more of this plant, if I can get this plant to germinate, get it above the water, flower, oh, I will be so excited. And then beyond that, just like mix in this plant and, you know, some of this and some super red and some AR and actually leave the CO2 in the tank and get the nitrates down real low. Right now they're really low. But man, that, and then maybe get a micrantha, Nymphea micrantha in here with the metallic purple flakes instead of just this one. This is a true, you know, everybody knows the red dwarf lotus. This is the orange or true tiger lotus that has red on it. When the light angle changes, you can see it changes color on the top. These leaves do. You can you guys make that out? It's kind of got a metallic shimmer to it. But this took a full year for the bulb to propagate. I had forgotten it was in there. But I mean, I love these orange fish, the ember tetras with this purple. I mean, it just looks really cool. And then the gourami with that purple looks just, I mean, right on. It. This is a Ponageton Crispus. And I mean, to me, it looked kind of like longifolia. But it came across the country in, I think, 3 days it took. But so there's a few leaves that are definitely going to melt. Like this one's pretty much translucent here. I should probably just trim it, but I kind of wanted to give it a day or two and just see how it does. But then I will trim it. It's got a root system established, so that was rad and worth the time and energy of keeping that as is for that reason alone. And then I kind of moved all the moss aside over here for the catfish and stuff to hide behind for the Peclotias, Comptas. But this has been nice and red too. I don't know if you guys can make that out. This tank's got there's some sort of like, it's not a bloom of bacteria or anything in it, but there's some sort of debris in it right now that I think it just was cleaning the pre-filter. I think when I cleaned that out, it sucked in a bunch of debris and now it kind of kicked it up. And especially I took all the moss out of here. And I've actually got such an effective cleaning crew in here, as you might have seen in those videos we covered the cleaning crew stuff, that they are out of food. And when they get really desperate, they start to munch on the actual plants in the case of a lot of species. And so part of it, I think, is like when they eat the plants, the stuff kind of settles to the bottom and the shrimp try to eat it, but they can't keep up with the load of it. And so there's that, but you can see it's just debris slowly wafting. But it's annoying because I would like to be able to see the back like you can here easily. And also the oxygen must be down a little bit, or the O2, I think, just because the fish are kind of doing a little bit of breathing at the top more than normal, or it seems like it anyways. I don't know. Let's bring them to the front. Let's feed them, because why not? How do you mean no luck with Corey's? Oh wait, somebody else is talking. I'll have to find out what that was about. Lots of food. Come get your slop, you filthy animals. These fish, they get their floating flake. And this goes back to the cleanup crew episode, but it goes to the layering thing we're talking about. And so I wanted to kind of just sit here for a minute and show you what I'm talking about. So in this tank, we got a decent amount of depth. We've got the depth of about 1.5 feet here. I mean, I think it's 20 inches technically, but the substrate takes up a good 4 inches in this tank. And then there's another 1.5 inches, so they don't jump out as well. It started with 2 bettas. Thank you so much for the $5. I really do appreciate it. I have, boy, do I have another little deal for you guys tonight. Yes, Apponegeton Crispus, variety purple. Yeah, but let's see here. So yeah, the fact that it's Apponegeton, that means to me that usually when the genes are starting to show purple in the Apponegeton group, there will probably be people will probably graft other Apponegeton species, and it may not work that they can graft all of them or anything, but there's probably a number that they can. And so I'm guessing like Longiplumulus and Apponegeton longiplumulus and probably Madagascar lace, I would guess. Maybe some of the other kind of onion plant type varieties might. I don't know. We'll have to see. But hopefully this means that they'll be coming up with more purple stuff. It's a brand new morph. But oh, as I was saying, when your cleanup crew runs out of food, they'll eat any hole or any damaged leaf, like any leaf with a hole in it. And so what happens is the whole reason I'm having that issue happen is because of my Siamese algae eater. I don't know where he is at the moment. Yeah, the male's here, the female's in the other tank. I happened to get a pair of them accidentally or just by luck. But because of that, he'll nibble, and so will sometimes the lemon plecos. This little lady right here, she will nibble, and they're grazers all day long, and they'll nibble and they'll rip holes in the plants accidentally by chewing too hard on that surface with their little bony mouth palate. And because of that, you'll get the damage to the leaves like here. And then after the damage is done, the snails will come and they'll eat all the dead tissue. Any protoplasm that squeezes out of a cell, they're ready to eat. Any funk, they're ready to eat. And back here, I can see it. Let's see if we can kind of reveal him. But we've got the leopard frog pleco hanging out. And I'm just waiting for the night, for the hours when these guys with their yellow all turned up, when they start showing off the yellow, when they get on this purple plant, will be pretty sweet. And this is a Prinz Kleiner sword down here, but when they are on that, it looks pretty nice too. So just throwing that out there. I also can get the Kabamba to be that purple, but back to the stratifying, because that's what we were going to talk about tonight. Let's see here. Let me get rid of that little comment. Just happy little tree. All right. So I have some good news for you guys as well, which is that tonight, oh wait, am I still up? Somebody said it crashed. I'm guessing we're good still. All right. So I also have some news, and it's mixed news for me. I mean, I love that Aquatic Arts is doing well. I do, but they are also having so they moved and they had like a 40 and 50% off stuff sale, plus stuff was already marked down before that sale. And you guys did a killer job of buying up whatever it was. If there was stuff that you guys wanted at the time and all that, you guys came, saved the day, bought those critters up, and nobody had to be, nobody died because they were waiting around in crates or, in oxygenated buckets. None of that happened, and they were able to move successfully. Now they're totally restocking They're building up their new facilities, and life is pretty good over there. The thing is, though, because of the whole COVID thing, the what they had planned on having since they'd planned on having the construction of everything custom, they were going to do hundreds of tanks that were 50 gallons and 100 gallons, and have grow out tanks, and they were going to do ponds outside. They have acres of new property, which is rad. But because of that, the budget went way over just because of everything going on lately. You know, glass, steel, all that stuff ended up, the quotes they got all went up a bunch. And so what they're doing to try to recoup the money is they're taking any of the fish that they can get right now, that they can get a steady stream of, their breeders in the Midwest and things like that, and then also their imported shrimp and things. They're getting in also everything from Daphnia to shrimp. They're starting to breed in-house again. Now that they have more space, they won't be running out, because constantly they were running out of things, which is a good problem to have as a company. But, you know, they'd bring in 1,000 of something and assume that that would last, and it would sell out in 2 days, because you guys, amongst other people who know about aquaticarts.com, are awesome. But for the next week and a half until September 6th, they are having a sale, and all fish, shrimp, plants, Daphnia, anything living, invertebrates, snails, axolotls, frogs, they're starting to carry some frogs and things too. They're all going to be 20% off the top, and some of them were already marked down as kind of a promotional thing. However, I'm not affiliated with the code or anything still, so that was all of July, August, and now. I mean, if you were buying hardscape or food, then my codes that are in the link below, those still apply. However, right now you don't need any code. You'll get 20% off, which is better than my codes. So I suggest you go there and buy stuff if you like them as a company and like what they have, like the fish they have. But basically, I won't be getting any sort of commission or free fish or anything like that, because I don't have any way to track it again. So unless it's hardcore hardscape. So if you're buying hardscape and stuff, you won't get the discount. So what I would do is I would suggest that you buy whatever fish you want in an order, and then if you're getting plants or fertilize, or I mean plants and fish and things like that, buy that, send them an email then and say, hey, I also have a hardscape order, and send them the order number, and they'll combine the shipping on it. And so they'll put it all together in whatever's most cost effective. But then instead of getting nothing off, you'll get 15% off or 10% off, depending if you've used the code in the last 3 months. If you haven't, you can do the History Secret for History Secret 15, and if not, it's History Secret 10, all caps, no spaces. The info's down below in the description. But check out what they have if you want anything. All the money that they're trying to just kind of do a little blitz, because they're like behind on money, you know what I mean? Like is far from where they thought they'd be, is with costs of building everything. And so they're trying to help out the community. It's not as good as the sale of us as it was when they were moving, obviously, because that, as I said, it was going to be, they're never going to have that 40 or 50% off sale probably again. But 20% still pretty good, especially when like their L333s, which are really good quality lines, we're going for like 39 bucks, so 20% off that. Basically, it makes their shipping and tax kind of free, essentially, if you think about it. So kind of levels the playing field for those of you who don't like paying more. But on my last episode, when we talked about ethics of keeping fish, that is the company that I work with, and why I work with them is for those ethical reasons. And so people have commented on that video like, you should start a company that does that. But I want to tell you that I think, and I'm not afraid to say, you know, other people or anything, but Dan's Fish, really good ethics as far as anything I've seen, as far as I know the guy and talked to him. I've never met him in person, but I met him I mean, we've talked online quite a bit and everything. And so Dan's Fish, that's another really great site, and getgills.com he set up. But anything he's selling on getgills.com, Dan's Fish, he's expanding his area. And so I want to give him a shout out too. But yeah, like I said, I just want to give that boost to a company that's supported the channel for the last 4 years. And it's a bit of a bummer that we can't link, trying to show them like how much we as a community here have bought from them, or and why, like when we say please order more of X, Y, or Z, when you guys leave a comment on something when it's out of stock, definitely leave your email, hit it and say I want to be notified when it comes in, because that becomes their top priority. Then on their order guide, they'll put that whatever's selling, whatever just sold out, and then also that even trumps whatever's sold out, because they know that somebody, a real person, wants it. So make sure you hit that email, order this or that. And I do that in the next few days, because this sale's running through the 6th of September. So we have some time. It's like a 10-day sale. So they'll probably have time to order some things in. Now they would probably have to quarantine some things, but it just depends. So there's that. Oh man, if anybody knows anybody at Dr. Pepper, my final plea. Look, I'm an all-American. I don't even have sleeves. I got rid of my sleeves because I love America so much. Ambassador of the brand. And I think that they should recognize my contribution to drinking all their soda. So cheers, guys, to whatever you're drinking tonight. All right, those are the end of my public service announcements. Oh, dang. Okay. I'm looking on my other screen here now that I'm standing over in this area, and I see that we've got a Regina. I'm assuming it's our Regina Phalanges. For anything you need it for, Dr. Pepper ? $25. I appreciate it. The reason I mentioned it, I didn't want to, I don't like, oh, woe is me. None of that. But basically, I was just saying that I'm not going to be doing any commission work with any of my affiliates or anything here. Dan's, I don't get paid or anything. Wet Spot, I don't get paid or anything. But I do think that those are good places, and I want them to succeed. So I still want to shout them out and tell you guys to check those out if you're in need of fish. But I appreciate that, because these summer months, even for local fish stores, they get slow because you, me, and everyone we know are not necessarily inside playing with our aquariums as much as we are the rest of the year usually. This time of year, it definitely turns into, well, let's go fishing, let's go camping, let's, I don't know, whatever it is. It's not taking care of fish tanks and buying new fish tanks as much. But usually in October, November, December, those are our hot months. Okay, so Siamese algae eater has come back out, and he's the one responsible for damaging the leaves and then causing the other critters to come in and start nomming on the leaves. So let's talk about the layering of our aquariums, because that's what the episode's about. We're a half hour in, which means Alex, shut up and start talking about the thing you said you were going to. All right, guys. So as you can see, fish have a natural order of things, and you guys know this. This is nothing new, but there's lots of species that hang out in the top water. There's some that hang out in the current. There's some that hang out in the middle water. There's some that hang out down in the bottom. If you have sand, there's some that will hang out in the sand. If you have a rock face, which I do under that Anubias, there's a big ledge of rock that's from here to here and about a foot tall, but it goes down. I don't know if you guys can even make most of it out, but that is another surface and another ecosystem. So you're building all these little ecosystems, and it's ending up, it will create lots of options for where your fish can be. Especially when you get to a tank around this size, 40, 50 gallons, you can really create a lot of areas. In a tank over here that's around the 20-gallon mark, I mean, we got lots of rocks. This tank is so overgrown. the reason I'm doing that is really for our aquascape contest, which is coming due in about 15 days now, give or take 15, 17 days now. But what I wanted to do was grow out lots of different species of plants for you guys immersed, so that we could just cut them and maybe take pictures and make like a little collage type thing of what they look like, both submerged and immersed. And then from there, you guys can get a good idea of the different things you can create, the different habitats you can create. And also just like, okay, so when it comes out and it grows up here, we're at the top now. We've kind of gotten rid of up here. There's not really much of a habitat for anything other than fry. And so that's the thing in all of my tanks. When we go look in the other room and we look at the other tanks, I know a lot of you guys have seen my other tanks and things too, but in most of my tanks, there's two kinds of tanks we're going to talk about tonight. And the first kind is where I have multiple ecosystems. In this tank, we're going to have at least 3 species of fish breeding and spawning somewhere in the tank. Same with this one. I mean, we've got Nanochromis species, beautiful cichlids. We've got ember tetras, which do breed once in a while, but they tend to eat their own babies, as well as everyone else in the tank can eat their babies. But then we also have the plecos and the cories that have babies. So for this tank, the bottom is definitely the baby zone. It's definitely the zone where all the little babies survive. Also, we can breed endlers and live bearers in here, and that's why we keep stuff at the very top. In the past, I've done killifish, hatchetfish, some of the Danio species, pencil fish. They'll all hang out at the top. A lot of the rainbow fish, and specifically pseudomagills or killifish, they hang out at the very top. And because of that, they have their own ecosystem where you could have an Oscar in this tank, and he's never going to go all the way down in here. He just won't make it. So any little babies that you want to grow up, you can still grow them together. Now, an Oscar is a really extreme example, and I'm not recommending that by any means. But I'm just saying you need to look. Like, here's that one of the Nanochromis right here. Such a beautiful fish. So threatened right now. The river that these are on, the Volta River, has 2 dams, and it's getting another. And there's a good chance that we won't be able to get these again. So we really need to make sure that we're trying to breed the fish that we can't get in captivity, in my mind anyways. So, and the plants for that matter. I mean, there's things like Bucephalandra or Homlomenas or the like that are just not surviving. So yeah. Okay, guys. So I also see somebody ordered from Beta Queen but hasn't heard anything. I assure you she's working on it. I would be almost 100% sure of that. But I haven't talked to her in a few days, but I can message her again, / you could message her too on Instagram. She seems to use Instagram a lot. It's Big City Bettas is her YouTube channel. You can message her there too. But I know she is in the process of literally moving, and that's why she was trying to sell those bettas, and why Secret, what was it, Secret 20 or Secret 10? I can't even remember at this point now. But why she was giving you guys a discount for me to tell you guys about the fact that she was selling her breeding bettas. So if you bought some from her, let me know. You can message me at alexanderjwilliamson@gmail.com, and we'll sort it out, because I know she's definitely not. It's Amber. She's definitely not disappearing and cheating anyone or anything. We all know where she lives, and and we're all plugged in with the community, so don't worry about that. It may just be that she's moved already. So there's that. All right, let's see here. Cal Barton says, I recently got a rare fern called Calamanta. Let's pull that up. Calamanta fern. Any info on it? None online. I also got a plant called King Crimson. Is it really blood vomit? I have no idea for sure without seeing it, but I would guess that that's the case. Let's do some research here. let me set you guys up with just stare at the tanks for a moment and look how nice these fish are stratifying for you. Look how pretentious they are and stratified. Really, I'm just opening a book to find that Calamanta fern. I don't know. Let's find out what the common name for it is. If you have the Latin name, always get the Latin name off of plants you buy. But let's see if it's in here under either of those. Because it could just be, you know, some sort of bulbitis or something, fern, or for all I know, some gamete of a fern. Let's see here. Looking through the amazing reference book that doesn't get any better than this. It's Crystal Castleman's book. Don't have any discounts or anything for you, but Crystal Castleman, her website in Germany, which is crystalcastleman.de, for Deutschland, how they say Germany. I don't know why Americans have to change everything, like Italia and Germany and stuff. But this is by far the best book for that. And so let's see what they have to say about that before we talk more about stratification, because that is very interesting. I love rare plants, definitely very cool. Let's find under K, and I'll show you guys a picture, of course, if I can find one in here. Sorry, you're just staring into the light. Don't go towards the light, folks. It's a trick. Stick with us. Not seeing it under those names though, so I'm curious now. I really want to know what in the heck it is. In fact, K is a letter of the alphabet that does not have many plants at all in it. Let's see. In fact, does it have any? No, there's literally not a single plant that starts with a K, Latin name, in this book. Kalamata, that might be the location it's from, though. And if so, that would probably be Indian of some sort, maybe. Let's find out. We got a mystery on our hands, and I'm trying to figure it out. Plant name, common names. So this book, you can search in the index by the common name and all that. But yeah, I'm not seeing those ones. I mean, I know blood vomit's in here too, but which, man, if there was ever a heavy metal name for a plant, blood vomit is the one that I would. I mean, boy, which is a fun little plant. It's like, it kind of looks like an aerocalum or a dwarf hairgrass, and then some of it has red on it. With that name, you'd think that it would be some sort of disgusting, slimy lump of a plant, but it's not. It's a nice plant. I'm trying to find that picture at least in here, because I know that has this, but we'll figure out an answer to that, and I'll put it in the comments for sure, because that's a mystery that I would love to help you solve. I really like a lot of the aquatic ferns, or stuff that looks like ferns aquatically. It's just really neat. You know who's just a pro with the blood vomit species and stuff is Tom Barr. The Barr Report, that is an incredible website for all knowledge of plants. The Barr Report, that guy has done so much work just playing with every variable you could ever freaking imagine. That guy has toyed with. Yeah, just insane. There's also, by the way, a Aponigeton, or Apongeton, however you want to say it, but I like saying Aponigeton, which is it's called Burneriaranus. Hard to say that, but it's a black version of the purple one. See that? It looks like strips of bacon almost. And boy, is that a cool plant. I'd love to put that next to the purple one. It's anthocyanins again, just like we've talked about in the past, that cause that coloration in there. But that one is always that color. It's not a special morph or anything. It's just, that's just the way it is. That's just the way it is. Things will never be the same. Let's see here. Yeah, no luck on that one right now. We'll have to do a deeper dive on that, but I do appreciate it. 503 joined as a member. Zippity doodah, zippity yay. That is awesome. Thanks for coming along on the wild ride that is this channel. Appreciate it greatly. Cal again, Aqua Botanica Canada, Cal Montan. All right, I'll take a look. We'll figure it out. Definitely we'll figure it out. Let's move on though. Don't want to take forever. Sorry guys. Oh, her website's down, huh? It's an unidentified aquatic fern from Indonesia. Okay, thank you, Rachel. Appreciate that greatly. You know, it's really yeah, King Crimson was a progressive psychedelic band for sure. Similar fern to Bolbitis hedulata, according to Aqua Botanica. I wonder if it is the black Apongiton or Apongigeton. That is going to be, they're all native to Madagascar. They're a Madagascar plant. And I guess Africa and India have them there too, but I don't know if they're truly indigenous in a long-term sense. I don't know that they know that, but in the traders of spice, gold, you know, Zanzibar, some of the crazy islands off of Yemen, and some of the islands out like Mauritius and things like that, where we know that there were no mammals. We know that that nothing big made it over there. It was just birds and things. That's like where the dodo lived, or Mauritania. But the whole chain of islands, the Mauritius Islands, there are a lot of critters that live there now because humans had it on their boat or on their prop or whatever. And yeah. And in that case, it's kind of hard to say that, I mean, that's not native in my mind. But if it came naturally because of, say, a tsunami, then how are we to say that it's not native there? I mean, something has to get places somehow. So, yeah. Me saying a Ponchaton hurts your soul a little bit. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Definitely. Oh, okay, so it looks like a fern right now, huh? Or I mean, it looks like moss. That's interesting because I wonder if it's a, you know, just like Siswassertong, it looks like where is it? Like a Pellia or whatever, like a gamete. This stuff here, the little this stuff, it's actually a fern. They thought it was a bladderwort for a long time, or a spleenwort, but it's actually like the early stage of aquatic fern. I guess they settled that debate recently, according to a few people I just talked to recently. Haven't read any literature on it, though. And we should be having fish news you can't use, but it's interesting, coming up soon, too. Also, oh, the little Annie gobies are out right now. They're so cute. But they also disappear just as quickly as they appear. So they are so small that even a little 20-gallon tank, they just disappear into. Also, I put food out for these snails because if you don't remember, I said that the snails were overpowering my tank and not doing the job I want them to at this point. Now they're just multiplying because there's some algae growing. And so I needed to get them out of there. So I put some pellet food in the middle of the day. They all came to it. And after this, I'll be scooping them out, feeding them to my pea puffers. So let's go take a look at some more stratified tanks, talk about stratified tanks more. I know we've been rather wishy-washy. Interesting. You want to know if King Crimson is actually a way of calling blood vomit the way? Yeah, I mean, interesting. I don't know. Hey Jess, what's going on? What's up? So guys, manes, tails, fur, and fins. Again, good friend of mine, Jess, and she has a morning show that talks about everything going on in the world of fish tube and fish festivals and fish swaps this year or coming up next year, I should say, 2022. There's going to be the granddaddy of all shows in Louisville, and they're going to have 4 shows: the cichlid convention, the killifish convention, the live bear convention, and I think what's the other one, the catfish convention, all at the same time on the same like 4-day stretch or 5-day stretch. Going to be epic. So I wanted to tell you guys something that's going on in this aquarium. This aquarium, I've let the algae completely grow out of control. I haven't cleaned the glass, not even for live streams. Although it's odd that this shrimp comes and works on the glass just right here. It's like in the shape, like he cleaned around something once. But since I've not been trimming anything because or killing anything or vacuuming anything, not doing anything to the algae, basically, we're getting that end of summer light. Like right now, the sun's finally set, and we're getting that end of summer light that isn't making it quite as well into the room right now. It's at the apex of where it will be for this room. And so I decided that, well, that means leaving this light on longer, letting the nitrates get a little higher. But these fish don't like nitrates. Again, if you look at any fish tank, figure out what species are up top. There's some that won't even go down lower than, say, 4 inches. And so for those, you want a tank that's mostly open. They do like having a couple things protruding into their zone up there, like a stick or one tall rock, just because it makes them feel safe to have some cover. But these guys, like the Pseudomagil luminatus, they're going to hang out, those blue eyes, they're going to hang out up there. The thread fins are going to hang out up there. Same being true down here with the Gertrude, and with these guys hardly ever go down low. These are the half beaks. Oops, sorry guys, you guys can't see that. These are the half beaks, these little slivers. And they're just doing their thing. This tank I actually have to keep about 4 inches lower than the rim because they are so dedicated to the top, and they jump. They're jumpers. They're jumpers. And up here, we have feeding on the algae till they pass out. We have cories, which is really bizarre. I mean, like, what gives? Why are the cories hanging out up there? But it's just behavior they do when the top layer is kind of taken, and the bottom layer has plecos and other fish that kind of chase them away. Right here, we've got some Gertrude luminatus, or not luminatus, Gertrude pseudomagills. And these are another really great fish that hang out within about 4 to 6 inches of the top of almost every tank. So you can utilize that, but you can control the flow and the water current. Right now, we've got this at a trickle, like it's actually dribbling down right here pretty quickly. So it's at about 1/4 of the flow that it normally is. And I slowed it down because we're going to be going out of town, but also because there's a lot of mulm and stuff in here, and we're letting it evaporate down a little bit. And then I'm going to aerate the water just so that they're still safe that way. But basically, I want to kind of mimic the end of the dry season. Then we're going to do a big flush on them. So yeah, that should be fun when that happens. We should get a lot of Corydoras eggs. But when you do this, when you kind of look at your tank, the simplest way is obviously bottom, middle, water, and top. And you have some that move around. In this tank, the Mormarid, which I hadn't really said much to you guys because my last ones died due to an electric shock stray in the tank. This time got a new heater and everything in here, and the Mormarid, there's only one, there's not 2. And it's a fully grown Mormarid in here, and he's still going to be called Mordecai. He's back there. And so hopefully he does better. He looks like he's doing better. And by the way, the Phantom Blue plecos are also looking just phenomenal over here. Here's Mortimer. or Mordecai, whatever you guys think is a better name, we'll go with. But look at this phantom blue pleco, just incredible. They're you like mall? Oh, I thought someone said I like mall Santa. I was like, oh, I haven't thought of that name. Also, by the way, these guys are ducking down because my hand's in the tank, but you can really see these are the Gertrudii luminatus, and I just kicked up a bunch of stuff, but they're Gertrudii, not luminatus. I keep saying that. Pseudomcgill, Gertrudii pseudomcgills, that are from Aquatic Arts. They've got the bluish opalescent white with the dots on it once they get full grown. These guys came really small and young, and they were really inexpensive, which was a really great deal. But also the phantom blue plecos, those are from Aquatic Art, or not Aquatic Arts, the Wet Spot in Portland. And I got them when they were quite a bit smaller than they are now. They've grown a good 1/2 inch to 1 inch and then also bulked up. Also these Cories, the bronze Cories, as well as the Venezuelan ones, those are all from Aquatic Arts. But as you can see in here with the little coconut huts and the snails and the sand, this is a tank that is dominated by catfish and bottom dwellers. We've got a bunch of banjo catfish. That's what that dark spot is under the sand there. They love to hide. And so they're in there. There's that blue phantom pleco again. I wish this would zoom in a little better. Oh, hi guys. Let's get that zoomed in a little better. Let's see, will it let me zoom at all? No. But the blue on them is just, right now, it's phenomenal. It's just a beautiful powder blue dot, polka dots on them. And I was hoping to get them out to you guys. However, as I was saying, the water speed, the temperature, all that stuff matters in these little microbiomes. And when you're making those little microbiomes for your critters, you want to think of all that. And look at this, too many snails. We're gonna feed them to the pea puffers. I mean, that was the plan all along. Look at all that mold. Ugh. That tank needs a cleaning next. Like tonight. That whoever is dragging all that junk into the coconut is annoying me. Wonder which one of you little scoundrels is doing that. I wanted to get one more look at the elephant fish before we moved on to a different tank and looked at the stratification of fish in that tank. But there are literally endless combos to the way you can decide how to do your stratification of a tank. But I like to switch it up too. Like this is all just so temporary, and it just sucks up the nitrates. It's an easy way to keep your nitrates at 0 is to grow a crazy foxtail or hornwort or whatever. And yeah, mulm is wonderful. I agree. But not when it's making that many baby snails. Too much. Dwarf stone catfish. Yeah, I have some anchor catfish or Indian stone catfish, whatever you want to call them. They go by a lot of names. Definitely have them. Look at this. I scared the half-beaks all the way down, but they almost always hang out at the top. In fact, that's the first time I've ever seen one all the way down here. But there he is. And these are live bears, which makes them kind of fun. Also, the Cories, like I said, hang out up here because they're eating the plants, but they're also eating food and stuff that's just stuck in when I feed flake food or whatever. It gets stuck up here, and so they come up to the top and they eat it. And there's more of the half-beaks over here. I don't know. I guess you guys can't even see them. I'll stop talking about them. Uh-oh. You guys might not be able to hear me. Can you guys hear me? Testing. 1, 2. I just dropped my little mic in the tank. Ugh. All right. So, but again, this is a tank. Doesn't need stratification, but it's a betta in here. And we got big old rocks. You can see the outlines because it's kind of backlit at the moment. But this is for breeding bettas. And we've got bettas in here and shrimp. Seems like a contradiction to try to breed shrimp and bettas, but there's a big old pregnant shrimp. Instead of a monos, I like Malawa shrimp. And yes, so do the bettas. This is a betta that is showing off for her mate and or his mate. She's right there. They kind of beat each other up sometimes, but in the end, this too is a successful breeding pair, and I mean doing great. So yeah. Oh, good, you can hear me. Kenny, can you hear me? Kenny, can you hear me? Even my little 10-gallon, even my little 2 gallons, I make sure that there is terrain on the bottom where I'm going to be feeding some things, and like my shrimp. And there is up here we've got it's all just floating right now. This is another tank that we're trying out as an experiment in that there is nothing running into it. This isn't a filter. This is just moss on a stick. And what we're doing in here is we've got a few least killifish and their babies. Their babies are all over right here. They're not moving, but you can probably see them. They stay really still on the bottom all day long. Usually they go to the top though, but the clown killies are at the top here. And this is just a 2.5-gallon tank. Both are breeding because they've picked a top and a bottom spot to be. One's a live bear, and so it can really always take your easiest breeder and worry about them the least. Makes sense, right? Take your difficult breeder and tailor the tank to that. And if you know they're a mid-swimming fish and that wants to be your centerpiece fish or whatever, then try to breed that. Set up the tank as if no one else matters, and then figure out what fits in that tank. Don't ever just cram fish together because you're like, I don't know where to put this. I guess it'll work here. Just that's not a good way to operate unless you have like 30 tanks and can operate that way easily and not go killing things. Boy, look at that. That is some melted. That's because my water is so soft. That's some melted water lettuce. But yeah, we've got these least killies, and then we've got these clown killies, rocket killies. I'm trying to push for Rocket Killy to be the name that they go by. And then over here, you know, another tank that just, again, you can do it all with plants too. But we've got some stiff bulbitis. Remember this, how haggard this looked not even 2 weeks ago? Well, it's transformed into its land-based leaf up here. And it's even starting to get some little divots where the spores will be. Yeah, they're hanging out, doing their thing. This other plant back here, this is another one of them that's converting as we speak. But they're going to come crusting through really soon, the rest of the plants. In here, this is my loach tank. So this is the tank where I don't mind having planaria because the loaches eat them. I don't mind having the algae from the sun because I keep baby lemon plecos in here about 10 at a time. I just let them graze while they're under an inch. And they'll eat the planaria. But really what this tank was originally for was for these guys here and for the loaches. So it's all catered to the loaches. Again, for the shrimp to be surviving well and everything, it's just important to have overhangs. See these overhangs here? Those are critical. I have whole episodes on rock piles, cholla wood, all the different things you can do, but varied sizes of gravel, rock piles, things like that. The loaches also are supposed to have running water. They're supposed to be hill stream species, but look at this. I don't have any filter running on this tank. I got an airline running into it, but barely anything going on there. Yet I have a hill stream species, full grown, super healthy, doing well. So you can ease fish into some really different situations. Look at this. I'm going to bring you guys up to a pregnant Stiphodon. And from this angle, oh, she ran. I was going to say, you could see through her belly and see, it looks like little teeny vinegar eels all in her belly. She has like 200 to 300 babies at a time, but they're larval. She's right there on the rock. And the males tonight probably will be turning this blood red color. This one's starting right here on his front of his chest. He's starting to do it, and on down the stripe on his side. but they do that, and then they will attract the females, and then they'll spawn. But they need constant water tension being broken, and fairly cool water, and low TDS. So this tank was really for the Stiphodons. The fact that these guys worked out well at the top, that was secondary. The fact that the shrimp worked out, that was secondary. But it's all about the layering of the tank again. And if you have a bow front or something, again, you want to layer your freaking tank. That's what we've been talking about here. But you can set up so many habitats. Here we've got a good waterfall, a good drop going on. And you can see that drop really aerates the water. These guys really hide down low. These are the ones I got from Lawrence Kent, and they're the haplochromis that don't have a scientific name, and they're just cruising around hiding. And if you guys remember back a ways, I mean, you can see the size of this. This is Nano Petite, and it is, I mean, a foot long of rhizome, almost that piece. And they won't eat that, and they won't eat the long pieces of the corkscrew valve, but they will eat every other thing in here, including the moss. And they've just done a number on everything. I mean, if you guys remember this tank, it was grown full of plants, and now those fish have cleared out and made like nests. They've flattened everything, lawn mowed it, and left mulm everywhere. It's been kind of an experiment, and hard for me to not want to just clean everything out. But I kind of wanted to see what this much biomaterial sitting in a tank for a long period of time would do. Hence why I have been doing the water aeration, like a waterfall, rather than just the water dripping in at level, so that we're getting a lot of surface agitation, a lot of oxygenation, because this is also a really warm tank, which will help break down the stuff faster. Likewise, we have pea puffers and rainbow fish in here. This tank is stratified in the sense that the pea puffers hunt down low. At night, they sleep on a little ledge or a little plant or something. And these guys always hang out at this level. There's the female, there's the male, and they lay eggs every night or every 2 days, whatever it may be. There's some eggs right on this plant. If you can see the 2 white eggs, they have fungus, but they're on that plant, and they're just chilling out there. And then over here, thanks again, Kenny, Danikin Aquatics. We've got the Turkana jewel cichlids, and they're finally starting to, I mean, it doesn't look so on this live stream, but they're starting to be red finally, and they've got this beautiful metallic and iridescent finnage on them. And we've got 3 that grew really fast and 3 that are slow, but they're all super mean. And that's one of the 2 types of tanks when we're talking about stratifying a tank. Is this is one that you can't do much with because it's one species. And unless it's a species that goes all over the place, really you just want to give them some cover, some caves, some plants, some stone. I actually have sponge filters in there, pre-filters, so I can use those on other tanks after the fact. But then up here, you know, we've got another one where big old rock that runs all the way down like a spine, this skinny rock I found. And then we've got thick floating plants, helps take care of the nitrates and things, but mostly it's there with these roots and things so that it separates. I wanted to see if I could keep Stiphodons, which are from the other side of the world. They like very clean water that's slightly acidic and that turns over often. So we've got the air, we've got the sponge filter going in here. Here's the Stiphodons chilling down here. There's 3 species in here. With a pair of Apistos, these are the albino Agazzizii super red or double red. And then we've got the 3 angelfish that were juvenile, but I mean, they're growing quick. You can see they're getting big quickly. We've got the marble, and then we've got the metallic black. But we've got the metallic marble too, and then the 2 blacks. So we'll see what we have. So far, it looks like we probably have a male here with these super long and the little bump on the head, probably a male. But yeah, and then somebody mentioned the teeny bettas with shrimp. Well, that's what we have going on here. No filter, no heater. This room stays around 72 degrees Fahrenheit. And we've got 4 bettas in here of the, I'm forgetting their Latin name. I'm totally spacing on it. They're the smallest betta species. I do remember that much off the top of my head. But they're all doing well. And see, they kind of just hang out motionless at the top usually. So they don't even bug the shrimp that are down here at the bottom. The shrimp kind of go up to them sometimes, but not at all a problem. There is a bit of a snail infestation in there, and that's just because it's a 2.5 gallon tank with no filtration. So it is walking a razor thin line when I'm doing these experiments. In summer, I like to leave stuff because in winter, I have to tinker. I touch stuff and I'm like, man, I need to tinker with all this stuff. But in summer, it's easier for me to leave things be and walk away for a week. And then I actually feel like, ooh, that's a surprise when I see how the little ecosystem I set up is doing. This is a low boy, and yet I still tried to stratify it with, this is all moss and sawassertang and water lettuce, duckweed, all that kind of stuff there. And we've got lots of shrimp in here, including the blue leopard shrimp, as well as the malawas, which to me, malawas are better than any other caridina shrimp for being hardy and also for eating algae. Pound for pound, they eat a ton of algae. Then we've got a little blue cheetah shrimp that you can't see its spots because it's not focusing, but it's the reddish, purplish, and blue. It's got 3 colors shrimp that's coming to the front there. And then we've got the Miyuki blue rice fish up here that are like an iridescent blue. Along with, we have a scarlet batis. And I don't know if you guys saw it last time. We'll see if we can chase her out. But we have a female that is albino. And I'd never seen an albino scarlet batis. Also, we have some of these least killifish. And these least killifish actually have color on their fins, which is another kind of interesting thing. They have a lot of babies, but the babies get eaten rather quickly in this setup because we can't stratify it. Here is that cheetah or sometimes leopard caridina species that I was talking about. Let's see if it'll come on. It doesn't want to go on my finger. Sometimes they'll come on my finger and hang out for a minute. But I was trying to chase out the albino batis for you guys so you could see her because she's full grown now. And she's part of my breeding project with mixing the Malaysian batis with the scarlet batis, just the Malaysian tiger, black and red. And then again, we have another blue cheetah shrimp in there, same parameters that they like. So, and then we have the celestial pearl danios in here. So we have quite a mix for a little 9 to 12, depending on how high the water is, gallon tank, with a little pendant light and no filter running. They're doing really well. There is a sponge that, I mean, this is a filter in the sense that it's these cheap filters you see, these guys, these ones. You get like a 4 or 5 pack for like $15 online, but things are doing well. I mean, it's covered in there. Now, everybody out in the ponds, I'm going to be curious when they come back in. So this is the one I was saying that the onion plant, I bet these will soon have a purple variety too, which is kind of fun. Okay, so here she is. Here's the albino. The albino scarlet batis. She's right there. I'll get some still pictures for the members and post those. But yeah, that was very unexpected. Didn't do anything special, obviously. It's just a 1 in a million chance or whatever the chances are. And then from Amber, whose site apparently is down right now, but I got this creamsicle faintly yellow and rose colored and peach and orange, just kind of cool within like that look. Real friendly, this one. The red though on the gill almost looks like an injury on that side, which always alarms me. And then I'm like, oh wait, yeah, that's really that bad it looks. But I'm almost considering crossing them with the crimson colored one, the female here, because she's proven to be so good at laying eggs. Whenever there's a nest, that the male makes a nest. But the other bettas are up in here in this little 2-gallon. There is a filter set up, but not being used. And then in here, we've got more bettas. That's a betta there, a baby betta, splendens, normal kind of betta, like you'd see at the pet store usually. And then we've also got a bunch of least killifish babies in there as well. And lastly, the most algaed out tank ever, because it's in the window, and I'm just letting it become a green water tank so I can put fry in it in a pen. And you can even see all that algae starting to creep up. But that is the balloon rams living there, and they have another falling water tank again too. So that is kind of interesting. I don't know. I think it's kind of interesting. And then, so yeah, let's see. What else were we gonna talk about? Let's give them something to talk about. Green water is so healthy. Miracle tank, healing water. Yeah, I agree for sure. Definitely. Green water, people who are usually newer to the hobby, I mean, they will try with all their might to stop that, to get rid of it. And it is just, us people who've had tanks for years, we strive for it. When it's not summer and you don't have a window shining light in the tank. I mean, I've even considered, even though this tank has so many rare plants in it, and it's got I run the CO2 usually in it, or the other planted tank right here. Now it'll probably run more in here with the amount of Logonandra meboldi's and other stuff that are in here with the Apongeton and all that. Aponegieton. And this light is just better spectrum wise for mid to low high, if that makes sense. Not true highlight like out in the sun, but high aquarium lighting. So that's a little tricky. If you look at like Crystal Castleman's book, it'll say highlight, and that will mean highlight in nature. But in this tank, I mean, this isn't quite highlight. It wouldn't flower things on its own. And it's not a really red light. It's a more blue light. Even though it does have red diodes, it also has green and blue. You bought phytoplankton from eBay twice, scuds twice, Daphnia. Well, actually, Daphnia, scuds, and plankton are going to eat your green water, unfortunately. What I would do is you need sun, you need phosphates, you need nitrates, and then you need biomass. So you need amino acids, really. So you could use Bacter AE, or you could use lettuce or broccoli or celery, and just let it sit in the tank. That's the quickest way to make it, honestly. If you put Daphnia in there, they're going to eat it at a really teeny level. They're going to eat all your green water. So that's actually counterproductive unless you have a very thick green water tank, and then you can kind of get this circular, system going where it's a feedback loop. And the Daphnia poop, and they make more green water, and then they eat the green water. I was trying to see if we could see the stone catfish. He's usually, one of them anyways, usually hangs out right here on these little lily pads on the hydrocotyl verticillata plant. But I don't see him right now. Let's see if he's around the side. Yeah, I don't see them. Also, I had another note that this is kind of beside the point of anything that we've been talking about, but I told you guys that I'd review it at some point in the future, and that was this. Boy, can we even see it now anymore? this Haiger thermometer here that gives you the digital readout, and it gives you, when it comes out of the water, it like can't overheat. It's like that's what it's advertised as being good for, is it will never overheat. Well, it's got these slats in the back that give it space between the heating element and the plastic casing. But shrimp, snails, stiphodon, coolie loaches, they all can get in these slats. And my coolie, in fact, there is something in there right now. Yet again, there's what is it? Is it a bunch of snails? It is, trying to see. No, it's an Annie's goby in here. She won't get out, or it won't get out unless I submerge it. But just wanted to say, I like that heater. Still good heater. I like that it's got a little control here, on the cord. But the fact that the critters can still get in there and then grow or eat, even just eating algae too much. Literally, I had in the other room, I thought I was going to have to smash open the heater, and it was a stiphodon in there, and it had eaten all the algae. See the Annie's gobies trying to stick its head out from in between the slot there. It's going to need to go to the lower slot that's not as heavy. I'll hide it again. They're kind of shy. But they get stuck in there. They go in there, they eat, and boom, they get such a fat belly that they can't get back out, and they have to wait to go to the bathroom, and then they come back out eventually. Well, it's so good to see everybody tonight. Always love the live stream aspect of the channel. I wanted to also kind of apologize that I didn't do a deep dive history video. I did a deep dive cleaning video, two of them actually, and I did the other live stream and stuff, but I missed a video this week, and it's because I was working my side job. As I said, not trying to guilt anyone at all, or whatever, but I'm just letting you know. Also, there's some baby fish in here, and I don't know what they are, hanging out right on that little lily pad. Boy, I wonder what that is. Is that a baby? It might be a baby pencil fish. It's really hard to tell. But like I said, not trying to do a guilt trip, but I'm trying to explain why I didn't get as much work done. I didn't have time to do the research because I was doing a graphic design gig that I had to take on and do about 20 or 30 hours of the last 2 weeks in a row to pay the mortgage. So that's all that is. But hopefully the channel picks up viewing again a little bit. And also I'm finished with that. And I do have a couple side jobs, but they're not as intense as that one. That one ended up getting out of hand a little. As far as the client was like, oh, I know exactly what I want. And then they didn't at all. And so we did they wanted to see a version of every vegetable that there was, which is fine. I got paid for it. But yeah, ran long, lots of versions. Was expecting to do 5 iterations, and we went through 50. Here are some more little baby lemon plecos on the glass, cruising. There goes Mr. Big Algae Eater. If it weren't for stratification, though, of this tank and of the species, I couldn't have all these guys and the cichlids in here, and 5 leopard frog plecos, and 2 lemon plecos, and the gouramis, and have a nitrate level of 0. This is a tank that I actually have to add nitrates to if I want. Otherwise, I get to keep my really pink and purple leaves without doing anything, pretty much. But yeah, so and tonight I'm allowing some CO2 in here. Just because the new plant coming in, I was hoping that that'll help its transition. And the tank's right here, usually in there. So we'll see. Here comes the Annie's gobies again. They're always fun. All I can think of though when I see them is Annie's song from John Denver. It's like, you light up my senses, and they're like sunset color, so it really reminds me of that feel for some reason, like Night in the Forest, really. Here you come again. Oh, no, scared of the camera. These things are smart. They're scared of the camera. I mean, they know the camera means me, and they know that means fiddling is going to go on. Something's going to get fiddled with in their tank every time I come around. Lady Diane, that's your favorite tank? Well, thank you. Let's see here. The other thing I was going to mention about the stratifying thing is don't just think about stratifying as top, middle, bottom. Think of it as hard, soft, sand, gravel, glass, because some animals they're almost 2D, you know? They're not even I mean they're almost not 3D. They only move on XY axis, and then you know flip it this way and they're on it too. But you want to think of that too. So if you have nearite snails and you have no rocks in your tank, and you clean all the algae off your glass, where are they supposed to hang out? Same with like rubber mouth plecos or rubber lip plecos, or you know, just things like that. Try to keep in mind how hard the surface is, what kind of biofilm it attracts, what kind of algae it attracts. Also, like if you have bamboo shrimp, they're going to need those big fans like this, like my hand. They're going to need those to grab any little particles floating by, but they need flow. They need literal flow. Not just like hill stream species need flow, but like they'll need flow to actually get them their food into their hand, and then they can feed it themselves into their mouth all day. But they need that all day, and they need 10 to 15 times the tank's flow ideally to get that little bits of bacteria and algae and stuff. So think about that. I mean, the other thing you can always do is like this. What I did here is I angled off this. So this is blocked off in the filter, and there's only one of these channels coming out. Now this is for 75 gallons of water, this hang off the back, and I'm still using this full reservoir for filter media. Not to mention, obviously, we have a ton of filtration going on in the substrate and in the fact that we've got all this moss that might as well be filter media. But you want to think about those things, like what fish are going to be swimming with the current. Like if you had trout, or if you had danios, or like leopard danios, or zebra danios, or pike cichlids, or something bigger, you know, you want to give them space to swim and have fun. I mean, even my algae eater is too big really for this 50 tank. I mean, he's 6 inches. He can swim from one side of the tank to the other in 1 second. So ideally, I mean, you want to give him 3 seconds of swim time. And obviously you want to give them enough room, 3 times their length this way, 6 times their length this way. Those are my made up numbers. But when I think about it and I look at stuff and I assume that you're going to have plants, you're going to have decor in the way, those are just kind of the dimensions that I seem to notice make the most sense. Now, I know some people are going to have a fish that takes up this much of their tank and it does laps, or it goes to one side and it can turn fine and then it goes around and it does that all day. To me, I just can't bring myself to keep fish that way. My fish need to have a dense wonderland. And I will be trimming all this out of here again. Right now, there's kind of a tunnel that goes just naturally because of the filter and the way I put the hardscape in. If you guys want, you can check out what an Iwagumi aquascape looks like with a deep substrate and anoxic. And also, there's tunnels through here for anoxic and also so oxidative, low oxygen, and no oxygen filtration going on. There's also a plenum under there. All that stuff's worked into the build on this one. And it was supposed to be an Iwagumi tank with like 3 different types of plants. And then, of course, it turned into a jungle tank immediately when I made it high tech, because I was like, oh, I can't waste that perfectly good space with the CO2 and all the fertilizers and things. I couldn't just let that be a carpet. You can see all the glosso that was here even 2 weeks ago. The CO2 has not been on enough to take care of that. So all the glosso right here is just starting to grow up and out and doing its own thing. Sorry, I guess we're not going to see the stone cat tonight. Usually he's hanging out right over here somewhere, but they're itty bitty. They're probably the smallest catfish I've ever seen full grown. The other ones that are pretty small though are the robocops. That's their Latin name. I think they're Autocinclus robocops. Not positive on the first part of their name though, but I do know that their species is literally ROBOCOP. Alex, you have any Pinocchio shrimp parameters? Yeah, I do. We can take a look at that real quick. So the Pinocchio shrimp I have in with some Japanese algae eating shrimp from Aquatic Arts, both of them. And their parameters are very, very similar to, in fact, they're a little more diverse than like your Caridina shrimp and stuff like that. Let's see, which one is this? That is the short nose. And we've got the long nose algae eater and the short nose algae eater, and then all these golden rams horn snails that I bred out. Lately, people have been paying me $250 for these snails once they're adult size. I mean, they are pretty, but because of that, I've let the explosion occur, and we've got a lot of snails in here. Snails make a lot of waste. Lemol, thank you so much. I appreciate the dollar. Thank you so much. Just stick it in my shirt. Thank you. Appreciate it. And Cal, also, obviously, I appreciate it. But yeah, there's in here, I'd say the parameters for those guys. Ooh, there's a really big one on this moss ball. I don't know if it's showing up well. Probably not from that angle, but there's a really large one in there. Oh wait, you know, he turned right in this dead center. And he's kind of facing us. But I would say the best parameters for those guys are probably TDS between 50 and 150, but all the way up to 250. And your KH and GH, I would say GH somewhere between 2 and say 6. Your KH somewhere between 1 and 4 are ideal. But I think they can take higher on both of those. They are a clear shrimp. And, well, thank you so much, Lemol. But yeah, can I put Pinocchio in my empty blue velvet tank? Yeah, definitely. They will get along in most Neocaridina tanks, totally. Yeah, I wouldn't worry about it. They're pretty hardy also. The thing with shrimp is they get stressed easily, and so they die easily right when you're moving them. After you've moved them and they're used to their new settings, whatever that may be, whatever the setting may be, whether it's, you know, pushing their limits to the max or not, once they're comfy, they seem to just keep living. Most species of shrimp. There are very few shrimp that, you know, after a month of being in there, just all die unless something crashes in the tank. The exception, I would say, are the fanciest of the Caridinas that are heavily patterned. But other than that, they're just remarkably resilient. It's in shipping. It's in the first week that they can die, and you can have the parameters just right. The biggest thing of all is to have the nitrates, nitrites, and copper non-existent. That's really what counts with shrimp, and having something for them to eat. Have you ever seen a cherry shrimp made out to have a tiger pattern? Yeah, totally. When they revert to kind of their wild looking pattern, it actually kind of resembles that a lot of times. So they'll be clear red, clear red, clear red. Also, there's like a tangerine super tiger and a tangerine tiger that can have the yellow. If you're talking about Caridina shrimp, they can have the yellow and the red they look really cool. But that's more intentional, and they try to get that pigment. Whereas the other one is generally reverting. Usually, if your neocaradinas have stripes, they're reverting because there's Babaltes, Babalti caridina shrimp, the zebra Babaltis that are pink and purple, as well as the wild Babalti or green Babalti. They all have stripes naturally, but other than Babalti shrimp and two Sulawesi species that are not really in the hobby, they don't so much have that going on. But if you see the clear ones, they can have everything from polka dots to fishbone or herringbone, or even kind of like a houndstooth, kind of like they're like little diamondy shapes with a little wisp on them, like a comma shape almost, pattern on them. All that can be a natural pattern. Those patterns aren't inherited so much as they are active camouflage, usually. So the brightest color you see and the darkest opacity you see on a given shrimp, that is the pigmentation info that could be passed on. So even if it's a wild neocaridina, like cherry shrimp, a lot of them had pink and kind of a light pink or rusty orangish pink color to them, or tinge to them, like a burnt umber if you're a painter. But that can also happen with blue velvets. Yeah, exactly, Cal said. So yeah, but those the Babalti zebra shrimp, you know, they're kind of getting expensive, but Aquatic Arts carries them a lot now. The green ones, I think they've come down in price. They used to be $40 or $50 on the websites where you could find them. Aquatic Arts has had them for 15, like 10 to 15, $16, which is still a lot for a little shrimp. And the purple and pink ones are wild, but they are very teeny and they're very sensitive. Once you get them set up, they're okay. But I have managed to kill 3 groups of those and only settle 1 group for about a year, and then they all died. Again, the heat this summer is just drilling my fish and stuff. So I've lost a lot of fish that are no-brainer type fish that I shouldn't have lost. You know, things like my sword tails and stuff like that that can usually take a beating, have had a hard time. Whereas on the tanks, like with the Stiphodons and my leopard frog plecos, I've really babied those tanks with ice water bottles and the AC and anything I could do to try to help. But the fact that I haven't left my house this whole summer for more than like 2 days at a time is the only reason those things are okay like they would be. So I am gonna get out of here, but I just wanted to you know, tell you all to have a great night. I had a good time chatting with everyone, and you know, I was in my head gonna talk about the layering of the tanks a lot more, show you more species. But the thing I want you to take away with this is, you know, you do your research, but when you set up your tank, think of those zones and try to make as many of them as you can, as big as you can. I mean, equalize it out. And I just wanted to kind of show you guys the state of the tanks right now. The ones in the room are not in great, I mean, they're not in great shape. They're kind of in autopilot shape, but there's no shame in that. I mean, things are still breeding. And so don't feel bad, you know. Sometimes things wax and wane, you know. Sometimes you focus on your ponds, or you focus on 2 aquascape tanks, or you focus on whatever it may be. But as long as your fish are healthy and doing okay, I think that that's just fine. It helps prevent burnout. Randy, I appreciate it. I appreciate all you guys tonight who super chatted, all you guys tonight who asked questions. Of course, my mods, and you know, obviously Zen Ginger, you rock. You are my rock. And tomorrow I'm supposed to go to Mount Rainier, and if you look it up, it looks a lot like Mount Fuji in Japan. It's 15,000 tall foot mountain. My back, my sciatic, and my hip are still too messed up. I have to limp when I walk. But up there, there's a river called the Cowlitz River that Mount St. Helens also exploded in the 80s and threw ash into. And there's this kind of surreal landscape that's finally grown back 35, 40 years later. But there's spots that are still just bleak, like ash and burnt trees, you know, like singed trees with no leaves or branches. And I'm gonna go collecting with my net and with fish for fish up there, including looking for some Olympic mud minnows and things. Now, the ash from the mountain, when I've seen it in the past, it's very, very alkaline, and none of my water around here is alkaline really. So I'm really curious to see what kind of different fish might be in there, or crayfish, or who knows what. I mean, crayfish would sure have a lot of calcium and carbon and things to work with in their metabolism out there. But I'll be out there, be out in bear country, not bear, and deer country and stuff. And so if I go out and do anything interesting while the others go up to Paradise Ridge, which is kind of like the start point of some hikes and climbing higher up on the mountain and stuff like that, I'll probably have to stay back and be down at the base of the mountain at the cabin that we've got for the night. But it's our friend's 50th birthday, so we're gonna go there. Oh, you're going fishing in the morning, average fish keeper? Ooh, I would invite you if it weren't my wife's friends kind of as the main group. If it were my close friends, I'd say yes, come. But yeah. Natural aquariums, you also see the Cowlitz River once a week, south end towards the mouth. Yeah, I mean, where it comes out, it's pretty beautiful too. Well, thanks again, guys. I always appreciate your feedback and questions and stuff. I'm going to look into those plants a little more that you asked about. And, you know, other than that, check out Aquatic Arts Sale if you want. If you spend a bunch of money, go ahead and send them an email and let them know that I sent you. But otherwise, you know, I'm just trying to help them out. And obviously, Dan's Fish, I don't have any discounts to offer there. But always check the description of my videos to see what's cooking, what's going on, if I have any announcements of cool deals and so forth. I'll always try to keep you guys up to date with anything I know. And again, thank you, mods, talkers, lurkers, and just everybody who's a part of this community. You guys really continue to just make me happy to be a part of this. And if you ever have an idea for a video that you want to see, or you feel like I'm slacking on something, or you need an answer to something, whatever it may be. Also, going through my old videos is a great way to find a lot of stuff. A lot of people have said, why don't you do a video on this? And it turns out when they search for that term in my name, boom, they'll find a half-hour well-researched video on that. So I have thought about going back through and redoing some of the videos that have 300 to 500 views and they're 5 years old, but were researched 20 hours or whatnot. So think about going back through my video database if you are craving some of those deep dive nerdy videos. I know some of you do that, and it always makes me smile to see someone see a piece and get inspired by it when I kind of forgot that I even did it, and it takes me right back there. So, but in any case, I'm going to sign out, call it a night. I think next up we've got Griff. Probably. Is it Griffin's Fish Room going? He may even be going already. Who knows? I don't know. Where am I? What time is it? Where am I? But I will talk to you guys all later. And again, thanks for the support. Thanks for the love, the comments, the thoughts. And I will see you guys on Tuesday. And hopefully I have a video before that. So yeah. Thanks, Azuravian. Thank you so much. So hard for me to say for some reason. Big North, have a great night too. Zen Ginger, thank you so much. I owe you a little something. I'll try to think of something cool to maybe send your way, or I mean, a gift card at the least, but I'd like to send you something unique for being such a champ helping out with the channel. So I'll think about that in the coming week or two. Hopefully we can figure something cool out. All right, guys, also finish up your aquascapes in the next 2 weeks or so. Get those immersed plants looking immersed or go buy some and just get them looking like you didn't just buy them. All right, guys, I will talk to you later. Take care, and take care of your critters, your plants, and then yourself, because you can't do all those other things without yourself. So make sure you do that. All right, guys, talk to you later. Bye.